The junior high school I attended was an all-girls school. The first friends I made there were a little different from the others. She was cheerful and fun to talk to in normal scenes. However, she sometimes suddenly looked at an empty space and make a scary face, or she suddenly screamed in the middle of nowhere as if she was scared. So everybody thought she was weird, so they started to keep distance from her. But I was very distressed to see her isolated from the rest of the class. Because I myself was bullied in elementary school. I was ignored by my classmates and isolated, and it was a very difficult time for me. Perhaps I was feeling as if she was experiencing exactly the same thing at that time. So I decided to help her as much as possible. Sometimes I asked her to tell me the reason why she was acting like that. But she just answered, "It's just nothing, don't worry." But obviously it couldn't be nothing. So I persistently asked her over and over again. Then she began to tell me the truth little by little. She said she had been psychic since she was a child. She had a tendency to attract spirits, and she had been repeatedly possessed and exorcised. And this time, she was possessed again. To be honest, I did not know how much I could believe her when she told me with a serious face that this time it was the spirit of a child. Perhaps she was lying, or even if it was not a lie, she might be suffering from some kind of mental illness. The unexpected response almost made me totally confused, but I tried to become positive with thinking that she would not be able to come to school if I also abandoned her. Then you have to have an exorcism, don't you? And then she replied, "I know, so I'm preparing it now." She said she have left a doll at the shrine. Right now, she was putting the spirit of a child in that doll, but the child got very angry and frequently tried to show her visions of snakes, insects, and other things, she said. After hearing her story, I was still skeptic about her explanation, with worrying about her every time when she was frightened. One day, she asked me to accompany her to an exorcism. She told me that the date for the exorcism had been set, but that she was scared and wanted me to stay by her side. I don't know if inappropriate is the right word, but at that time I was curious to know if there really was such a thing as an exorcism. So I just replied, "Okay." The exorcism took place in one of the shrines near her house. On the altar, there were some tools used in a ritual that I do not understand, and in the middle, there was a very ordinary doll with closed eyes and an egg. She was dressed in white and seated in front of the altar, with her mother, grandmother, and I on either side. Her parents were divorced and her father was not present. When the exorcism began, the priest struck her body with a rice-like object while chanting some kind of incantation. Then she began to scream and struggle. The scene was nothing short of bizarre and completely unrealistic. I even had the wondering that it was me who was going crazy, not her. I could not take my eyes off of her, and as I watched the exorcism, I suddenly saw the doll on the altar move, and at the same time, something flew in front of me. It was that doll's head. The head fell a short distance in front of me, rolling and rolling with momentum, stopping a few inches in front of me, and its eyes, which should have been closed, suddenly snapped open. As I froze, the priest began to strike my body with rice while chanting a spell on me as well. After a while of this unusual state of affairs, it seemed that the exorcism was finally over, and then he broke the egg. Strangely enough, the inside was empty. The priest said that this time the spirit was a combination of a child and a snake, and it was very powerful. The doll's head flew toward me, and the spirit tried to possess me because it had nowhere to run. That was why my exorcism was necessary, he said. It sounds like a just fantasy or illusion, but this is what was happening in front of my eyes at that time. I sometimes wonder if I was dreaming then, but seeing the good friendship I still have with her, I have no choice but to accept it as a fact. Since then, when I see dolls at toy stores, I shudder.